Hi everyone, in today's tutorial I want to show you how we can take a video as an input and transform it into pixels so we can have this sort of effect. We will mainly use the quantized pop, which will give us the pixel effect, and then we will also use some post-processing to have this kind of glitchy look. So let's get started. So we can start with a blank new project. As always, I will have this project file in my Patreon if you don't want to follow along. But to start, let's bring the video that will shape our silhouette. I chose a runner that I just generated with Midjourney, but you can have any other silhouette. I just think this runner gave us a cool result. Next, we will bring a constant chop because I want to use the constant for the resolution that we're gonna keep in this project. Let's have resolution X, that would be 1280. And resolution Y, 720. To the video, let's attach a fit so we can fit it to our resolution. We can drag the resolution. And in the fit, we will change the fit best to fit outside. And then we can just reduce the scale a bit so we can see the runner completely. After the fit, grab a threshold. And this is what's gonna make the silhouette. Every white point's gonna reflect the background image that we're gonna put in later. And then you can change the threshold number to have more surface covered or less. I will put the threshold to 0.03. Then we will take the top here and transform it to a pop. So let's do top 2. And now we're gonna have points here for the image, but we don't want the black background. So what we can do is attach it to a delete. And then in the attribute, we're gonna select the color 3. So it's the alpha. And then if the alpha is equal to 0, which is black, then delete it. That's why we only keep the white points. To give the pixel effect, we will need to bring a rectangle. Change the uniform scale to 0.005. Grab a copy. Then this is where the magic happened. Let's bring the quantize pop. And then change the quantize to round. And if we bring down the quantize, then you will see the pixel start appearing. I use a pattern chop to animate that. Syn wave, and then length is 600 because I wanted to match the animation loop. And then I change the phase to 0.25 so I can have the starting point at -1, so it goes from -1 to 1. Then bring a time slice, attach it to a matte. In the range, we will change from -1 to 1. Then for the quantize, I change the value to 0.01 to 0.09, attach it to a null, and then you can reference this chop to the value step. So now it will move accordingly to the pattern. And now it's only doing it one time the loop, but if you want it more than one time, you can change the number of cycles. So for example, we can have 4, so it's gonna go back and forth. Now we're gonna render it. Gonna attach it to a geo. Then bring a camera, a light, a render top. And then we will change the resolution. We already have it, but we can reference it in case we want to change it later. And change the pixel format to 32-bit float. For the material, we're going to use a constant. We can change the camera or the Z translate, just bring it to 1 so we can have the runner. Maybe that's too much. 1.5. Maybe 1.2. The next thing we're gonna do is bring all the videos background. Okay, once you have your video on the screen, these are just videos, like free stock videos that I found on Pixel, but you can use any videos that you want. And we're gonna actually alternate between them. So let's bring a switch and connect them. And then a fit, so we can match the resolution. Let's bring this here. Then fit outside, and a null. To animate the switch, we will use LFO and connect it to a count. Then in the count, we will limit loop min-max. So we have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so 6. So it's going to be from 0 to 5. Then you can attach it to a null and reference the null in the index of the switch. And if you want to make it faster, you can just go into the LFO and then increase their frequency. So it's going to switch faster. Okay, to connect the two, we will bring in Composite and choose the multiply. Now I want to have a kind of a border around the rectangle or the pixel. So what I would do is after the render, I will bring an edge, connect it to a transform, then scale it a little bit, attach it to a blur, then I will bring another composite and compose the two. And we will use the add operation. So now I have this border, but I will increase the filter size of the blur, maybe 20, and then just replace it with the input here. So let's bring a null and then just make the viewer active here. We will add next a background. So attach the comp one here to a transform. And put the alpha here 1 and then comp over background color. And I will put it white. Next we will do the kind of glitchy effect. You will grab a ramp and change the resolution or resolution. Change the phase to 1 and the period, let's put 0.01 and change the type to vertical. So now we have like those tiny lines. Attach it to a noise. For the noise, you can change the seed to whatever you want. Period 0, harmonic 0, harmonic breadth 0, harmonic gain 0.05. Exponent would be 0.9, amplitude 0.5, and offset 1. Let's grab a displace, connect the two inputs. For the displace, we will change the source midpoint x to 1 and put the other two to 0. Display weight for x will be 0.05, 0 for y, and 1 for, let's keep it at 1 for z. Let's connect here so we can see. And the last thing we can do is add a strobe effect. So it goes from black to white. So in order to do that, we will bring a level. In the level, when you see invert here, if you push it to 1, you can see it turns black. So we want it to toggle it like that. And in order to animate it, we can just simply use a LFO. But I don't want the invert to go from -1 to 1, so I will just use a matte. In the range, change the -1 from range to 1, and then 0 to 1. Attach it to null, and then you can reference in the invert here. And if you don't want this fade effect, you just need to change the type to square. So that's it for today's tutorial. I hope you enjoy it. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and see you in the next one.